It's all right. How you doing?
All right, we've got a lot of new faces in here. Want to make sure everybody knows we have coffee, water, and donuts over here. If you need to use the restroom, go out the door you came in, and right on the other side of this wall is a restroom. You'll see on the top ceiling it says laundry and restrooms right at the top of the ceiling. We'll go ahead and get started here in about another 4 or 5 minutes. We also have a sign-in sheet if you haven't signed in.
There is a sheet over here, guys. More over there.
If you haven't signed in on this sheet, make sure you do so. We'll send you the presentation when this is all over. If you need credits, make sure you check the box over here, but just check by your name. And if you're not on this list, you can turn it over and fill it out on the back. Like I said, we will email out this whole presentation so we don't take a bunch of notes today.
Before we get started, is it okay if I take a photo of everybody?
Yeah, come on up here.
Everybody,
If you don't want your face,
smile on. You know, it's early. We got coffee. We're talking about roads, pavement management, crack sealing, all the good stuff, right? Rejuvenation, preservation. We're gonna have some fun.
That's right.
I haven't even had coffee yet.
Really? All them threads lay on the rack. I open this one. Open it and then
I'll introduce y'all.
so it did transfer it.
Morning, everybody. Thank you all for coming.
It's like it shut off.
We were really pleased to get such a nice turnout, especially with such kind of short notice right after the holiday season. Things kind of overlap. I'm David Helm of Pavement Technology, and today with us we have James Golden from Pavement Management. He's going to talk about how to come up with condition ratings on your roads. Going to kind of get you on the scale. You're going to look and say, well, after the holidays, we get a little heavier. We got to figure out a way to what gets. He'll have a good word for you. You'll hear about this, how to measure that and manage it. And I'm David Helm with Pavement Technology. We're going to be talking about the Rejuvenator. We have Kyle back here with Strausser. He's going to be showing you a lot of things about microsurfacing, cape seals, crack seal, and Mike Metzger is here today, also with Strausser. Mike, you're going to like what Mike has to say. He's got a lot of experience. He's been on both sides. He was the county road manager from Delaware County for many, many years. So he knows how to take care of roads and what you have to do, and so he'll be able to answer a lot of good questions for you. So James is going to start us off. Again, thank you all for coming. And just if you need to get up and do anything, you know where everything is over here, and you know where the restrooms are. I think Mike already told you. You already telling Mike where the restrooms are at?
Yep. For anybody new, right out this door to the right. Coffee, water. We'll have lunch today, pizza, chips, we'll have soda, whatever you need.
All right, y'all ready to get started?
I'm gonna kick this thing off with just a little my Josh Allen flex right here, from Buffalo. So very excited about my Bills, this year. That was a crazy game in Cincinnati, man. So that kind of impacted the nation in a pretty great scale, didn't it? Kind of crazy when you see something like that as a spectator letting me on the field. But that's my screensaver. We're big Bills fans out here, so I just figured I would throw that out there. Playoffs are coming. Good luck to all the teams that are in there, and for all of you that are fans. So, if your team didn't make it, sorry, So I'm gonna get started real quick. There we go. Presentation. Okay. James Golden, founder CEO of Pavement Management Group. We are that condition assessment authority, here in Ohio, throughout the nation. We work with these gentlemen quite a bit, so we're kind of on the front end of all of this stuff, collecting quality data that you can make really good decisions on where to put those tax dollars, your budgetary dollars. So how many of you, show of hands, are already doing some preservation or preventive maintenance on your roadway network? Good to see. I like to see more hands going up. Maybe do this again in a year and we get more hands, right? And that's what my presentation is going to be about today. All about the advantages of pavement management, the benefits, maximizing our roadway conditions, our taxpayer dollars, our general fund dollars. So just a little bit about pavement management group right here. Better roadways, always at our exit, here at PMG. That's what we're all about. We're really on a mission as a company and as a CEO of Pavement Management Group to make the biggest impact we can. We say it all the time, improving America's roadway network 1 mile at a time. That's what it's all about. I'm going to show you some slides here in a second that really state the problem that we're facing. I know you're all facing it. I know we could all use more money, right? Who needs more money for the roadway network? Right? Okay, perfect. We know we need more money. At the same time, we got to do better with what we've got. And that's how these types of treatments come into play, right? So that's what we're going to be talking about. We're a public professional services firm. We're not necessarily engineering. We're data collectors. Been doing this for a really long time, back when I actually had hair, before I had 5 kids, so that's just a little bit about me. That's all you need to know. A little Just for Men in the beard, man, keeping it going a little bit. I don't want it to be too white. I'm not ready for all that yet. My youngest just turned 13, which is pretty crazy, to be honest with you. So I've been doing this a long time, since I was 19 years old, out there pounding the pavement literally, walking the roadways each and every day. Back in the day when all this technology and artificial intelligence, and you've heard these buzzwords, right? That stuff didn't exist. We're all old school. Out there walking around with a wheel, measuring cracks, finding out where the right crack seal opportunities lived, the right opportunities for some cape seals, microsurfacing, all these products that exist and have been around forever. And obviously, full depth reclamations, cold in place recyclings, 2-inch mill and overlays, full depth repairs, all those things. Pounding the pavement, taking a look at where those opportunities were. We followed a blueprint. Back then, this is just an upgrade. Been doing this for over 20-some years. So every step of the way, I've been improving my processes, talking with you all. You are all the real professionals, right? On the company side, we want to build solutions and provide services that work for you, not for our interest. A little bit different. There's a lot of companies out there that just do what they want to do and try to shove it down your throat. We're not those people. We're very value-based in what we do. If we're not providing value, why would you ever consider using it anyway, right? On top of that, your contractors. We want to make sure our data is providing that value for them as well. We want a win-win-win situation is what it's all about for us. Big note right here. This is pretty cool for us, a milestone for Pavement Management Group. We hit over 50 agencies serviced in 2022, okay? What does that really mean? In terms of miles and data collected and stuff like that, it's only about 5,000 miles, but for me the bigger impact is how many we're actually working with. Plenty of companies out there will go hit 4, 5, 6 DOT projects and put that win under their belt, right? No, we're all about making impact. We're going to grow that number to about 100 this year, which is pretty cool. So we're here for the township, we're here for the county, we're here for the city. Our sweet spot, honestly, is populations at sub 50,000. You have resources, you're overextended, you need help, that's kind of where we come into play. We look at ourselves as an extension of your team, not just providing data, dropping it off in a spreadsheet and saying good luck. Call Mike, call Dominic, call Kyle, call Dave, right? So that's what PMG is all about. I always like to start this from a position of authority because most of you don't probably know me or know me yet. Very active on LinkedIn. You see I got my video rolling right here. I enjoy this part of my job. I've been doing this for a very long time. Very fortunate to have a great team behind me at Pavement Management Group that fulfills all of our stuff. We have great quality control processes. Nowadays, I get to really just work with all of you for the most part. Business development and work directly with the client. So I like to come from a position of authority, but again, you all don't really know me yet, but you've probably heard of the American Society of Civil Engineers. Who's heard of the ASCE? American Society of Civil Engineers. I've got engineers in the room, consultants, awesome. So this is a pretty good authority for you. You're probably familiar with the infrastructure report card that comes out every couple of years, right? And what the ASC is doing on a national scale is taking a look at all of our infrastructure. Anything from our broadband, which you're going to see here in a few minutes here at the HI Express is about 6 megs per, that's not very good. My internet solution's not working very well. Broadband, roadways, bridges, all of that stuff. it takes a look at these things. And what it's doing for roadways is saying, hey, we're not doing so hot. We got a D grade. And I don't know about the rest of you, but when I brought home D's on my report card, I was in trouble, okay? You know, I was an athlete, I like to go out, I like to do things. I got grounded pretty quick if these showed up. So who is that constituent for you? You know, who's holding you accountable, right? It's your policymakers, it's your taxpayers, correct? It's your clients, you know? We gotta do better. We know it. That's why we're in rooms. I'm amazed that there's, what, 50 people, Dave, in here today? Like this, I think the max occupancy said 60. Like, are we good? No fire marshals? We're in good shape?
I'm not asking.
You're not asking. I like it. So it's amazing that all of you, you know, have this type of stuff top of mind. It tells me you want to be here. You're looking to do better. And I'm hopefully going to present a blueprint on how we can start doing that, right? Here's what we know. 43% of our localized local roadways, public roadways, are in mediocre or fair condition. That's a pretty bad number, right? If you take 100 minus 43, what do you get? You get a 67. Okay, so just think of those types of things as we go throughout this this presentation. What's that done is create a $435 billion backlog. It's such a big number, you can go to your calculator. I'm on my calculator a lot. You can ask my wife. My favorite app on my phone is my calculator. I don't even know what I'm calculating half the time. Your calculator can't even type that out for you, can it? It doesn't even understand how to put that big of a number in your calculator. But yet, from policymakers, from the $1 trillion infrastructure bill, these are just numbers being thrown at us, trillions of dollars. How many of you have worked on $1 million roadway projects in your lifetime? I know Strasser has, right? Some of you consultants have. 1 million, that's a big number, is it not? How about 10 million? How many of you have worked on a $10 million project? 100 million, a billion, $435 billion. Come on, guys, we have to wrap our heads around this. That's where I'm at here. It's a big number. How many of you seen Austin Powers, the movie back in the day, when he's like holding everybody for ransom for like $1 trillion and the government laughs at him? You know, it's because it's just a big number.
It's about lane miles.
It's about, yeah, exactly. This is a real number for all of us in the room, though, is it not? Each one of you is responsible for somewhere in here. You have backlog. Is it $1 million, 5 million, 10 million? Pavement management will help you discover that and then put a plan in place to solve it, okay? Taxpayers, right? How many of you are going to your cookouts, your gatherings, whatever? It's post-2020. Hopefully we're all back to doing some of that. And your residents are looking at your neighbors, your friends, because you're the road guys, aren't you? Like, I know I'm the road guy. I'm in the Facebook groups. Like, what are they doing over there on Blackfoot Trail? Like, it's a reclamite. It's called a rejuvenator. It's a preservation activity, right? I have to educate them. You're doing the same thing. I guarantee it. What are they doing? They're complaining. I hit a pothole. What do I need to do about this? I hit another pothole. The point is, $130 billion spent in vehicle maintenance and repairs. Are you kidding me? Wow. That is crazy. Like, think about that. How many of you have hit a pothole on your way here today? Probably have. I kid you not. I won't name the city because I'm not into doing that. But y'all know where I live. More than likely, look it up. It's not the city that I live in because they have a pretty proactive plan using all of their stuff back here, all these guys' stuff. I counted 17 potholes on the way to the gym. It's a 7-minute drive, 7-minute drive. And it wasn't in one location, right? So this stuff is real. At the end of the day, we know we need more money. We know we're in a backlog. We're in a deficit. We're trying to make ground. But we also know that there's been a lack of roadway maintenance and preservation in our country. That's why only 30–40% of you raised your hands. We're in this worst to first process, okay? And people ask me all the time, well, James, I can't afford to do a rejuvenator. I'm like, it's 12 cents a square. Of course you can afford it. It's about a mindset. I'm more like the TED Talk guy when I do this stuff, guys. Like, you have to change your mindset to get to an improvement here. Now, I would love to tell all of you to go hire Strasser, go hire PTI, hire maybe a PMG. We're going to get you to an A overnight, but that's not going to happen, okay? The holy grail here is honestly to getting to a B. If you can hit your pavement network at a B and 80, that's pretty good. Is Mike back here, Metzger? Someone? Mike, Delaware County, because y'all are going to, talk to Mike. You were in Delaware County, did all these types of activities. You were probably approaching that B, weren't you? Or right around there?
Correct, yes.
I mean, and you took a big amount of chunk of your budget, shifting your mindset to preservation and preventive to get there, didn't you?
That is correct.
Yep. And then doing that activity and presenting that to your stakeholder showed skin in the game. Look what they're doing with our dollars. The roads were actually getting better. Holy, what a crazy concept. What if we had an extra 10% more money? You could fight for more money. It's defensible, right? So think about all this as we keep going. D, unacceptable. I'm sorry, this is America. We built the motor car back in the day, the car, right? Why are we traveling on D roads? It's become complacent. It's become just accepted, and it's just something that I'm just tired of, to be honest with you. We got to do better. We can all do better. Let's get there. Okay. Let's start with just what is pavement management. And before I really get into this, I have 45 minutes. Is that accurate? I forgot to kind of check my time on that. Is that, Mike, do you remember, is that the schedule?
I have to check. Yeah, you're good.
About 40?
Do what you got to do.
Yeah, hey, I'll be here all day. I'll be here all day. Just kidding. All right, let's go with pavement management. I like to define that because those two terms mean something different depending who we're talking to. Your mayor is going to understand that differently. Your neighbor, absolutely differently. Mike, Dominic, Kyle, me, we're going to understand this a little bit more technical, right? Your council members, your clients. Okay, what is pavement management? Look, it's a systematic approach to the annual maintenance and repair of your roadways. Period, end of story. There's your technical statement. Keyword is system. You're going to see that play out throughout my presentations. I'm a huge fan of simplifying where, how, and I can. I was the one I already told you I got D's, you know, I had to work hard to get my C's, got a couple B's in there to get by in high school, you know, went on to a trade school to get my initial degree. You know, I had to work hard for those. Like, school and education didn't come easy for me. I had to simplify where I can. So even in my career, let's simplify pavement management. It's right here. This is your takeaway today. Whether you go on to do a pavement management project, whether you go on to do half your budget with crack sealing and microsurfacing and cape sealing, this is your takeaway. Apply the right treatment to the right pavement at the right time, every time. That's how Delaware County did it. That's how our clients are doing it. That's how they're taking their D's to D pluses and C minuses, not necessarily overnight, but within a year or two. That's how they're getting there. And the challenge is, well, how do I identify these things? That's what the pavement management process is all about. We're going to show you, but we all have seen this thing right here. This is your good old-fashioned asphalt deterioration curve, and it doesn't really look like this, by the way, but my marketing people helped me out, and they just put some good slides together. Right? We do know that asphalt deteriorates at different stages based on different things and activities. We're in a heavy freeze-thaw climate. You know, I mean, it's pretty warm out there, isn't it, everybody? It's January, what's the date of today? The 12th? 13th? Like, it's pretty warm out there. So, freeze and thaw, we're going to have more potholes, you know? That process is just going to keep kicking in, and it's going to get cold again. It will happen. I don't want it to, but it's Ohio. It's going to happen. We go through these processes, right? So the deterioration curve for this region doesn't look just like this. Matter of fact, whether you're in Sidney, Ohio, or Cincinnati, Ohio, or Cleveland, Ohio, your deterioration curve could be a little different, depending on what you do. If you were Delaware County applying a lot of your budget towards preservation, preventive maintenance, you're going to be doing pretty good, versus a city that does worst to first and is severely underfunded. Is that making sense? Is that resonating a little bit? So the point is, we have all these pavements out there, whether you got 10 miles, 100 miles, 1,000 miles, or 5,000 miles of a roadway network, you have got a series of pavements out there at different ages and different conditions. So your job is to plot all that information, understand what's really happening. And then you can say basically, look, here in Sidney, Ohio, my pavements are on about a 2.65 point drop per year deterioration curve. Pretty easy to find that number. So all of a sudden, I've got pavements that are aging, right? We have to take a look at top of curve down. What we typically do, a lot of us are doing, is starting here. The complaints come in, you go to council meetings, right? Your neighbors, like, well, you fixed my neighbor's road last year and it was failed, and mine hasn't been touched in 26 years. Who's heard this? Okay, we've all heard it. And while we need to address these failed roads, we have to keep in mind that how did they get here in the first place? How did they get here? What can we do here to help solve that problem, extend the life of our roadways, things of that nature? How many of you drive cars? Every hand's going to go up. This is Ohio, right? We're not in New York City taking subways and buses. Not yet. Or anything like that, right? So you all have purchased a car, whether you bought it used, you bought it new. I don't care if it's a Kia, I don't care if it's a Porsche. Don't care. You take care of it. I guarantee you take care of it. If you're making payments on it or you pay cash for it, you're taking care of it. Oil changes, car washes, tire rotations, Some of us who really like our vehicles, we're doing ceramic coatings to protect and seal that paint job, okay? Any of you do custom like car work or anything like that? You've got classic cars? Anybody in here? You know, some people that's a hobby, right? Maybe you take pride in that thing, don't you? Yes, you do. You take care of it. Routine maintenance, preventive maintenance, and preservation. You're doing that to your vehicles, you're doing it to your homes. Why are we not doing it to our roadways? That's why they're getting in here, okay? So, pavement management simplified. Let's identify the right opportunity at the right time and extend the life of these roadways, maximize our budgets. That's how we're going to get the job done. Pavement management goals, right? For me, I've got a lot of them. These are the top, basically, 5 that I've got for all of you. Whether you're an engineer, or you're maybe road superintendent, your public works, your city engineer, wherever you lay in there, right? These should be your goals if you're approaching pavement management. Maximize the current funding effort. We talked about this earlier. Who needs more money? Everybody. Great. If I'm on your city council board, just because of my knowledge, Mike's probably with me, Dominic, Kyle, if we're all on a city council's board as a group, Dave, and someone comes to us and says, we need $7 more million to fix our roads, what are we going to say? Prove it. Show us. What is the plan? What is the approach? What are you doing with the current funding? What's your ROI right now? Return on your investment. You're looking at your budget as an expense, okay? You're not spending against your roadways, you're investing into your roadway network. That's a mindset switch you have to start adopting, okay? If you're spending $1 million a year on your roadway, when you go into the budgeting process, it's an expense item, is it not? I got to pay for fire, EMS, you know, public service, roads. Roads are usually at the top of that list too, aren't they? Very expensive. You're looking at it as an expense. Look at it as an investment, because you're not going to love this one. Because who spends between $500,000 and $1 million on the roads, the roadway network? Anybody in here? $250,000? Okay, so what I would say is if I'm a hedge fund manager and I say, hey, everybody, I got a great opportunity, business opportunity. I want all 50 of you to give me $1 million, and I'm going to guarantee you an 8-point loss in 5 years. Who's signing up with me? Give me your money. He's shaking his head. No, I'm not doing that. But you're doing it in your road budgets. You're just doing worst to first. You're not measuring the result. You don't know your ROI. You're just doing what you've been doing. And it's just kind of is what it is, right? So that's not a good business model, is it? Would we agree with that? I mean, we're all I can see the ages in this room, except for my son back there, my marketing guy. You got a long way to go, bud. Keep investing, right? For the rest of us, we got to do some catch-up contributions, okay? Our catch-up contributions are PTI and Strasser. That's how we're going to get there, okay? So extend the life of your roadways, very important. When you design a road for 30 years, who agrees it's working for 30 years? The thought process is, oh, I designed it for 30, I don't have to touch it, maybe 20. But let me tell you something. That initial stat, 43%, our local roadways are why you're here, okay? Your state routes, your US routes, your federal routes, those are primarily driven by different buckets of money that you don't have, correct? The federal government's not knocking on your door with that $1 trillion package saying, hey, Mike, I got an extra $1 million for you, Delaware County. I got you, bud. I got you. No, they're not doing that, right? You have to go find those opportunities through grants and different funding. And there's some of those available, by the way, like the RISE program and things like that. You need to look into that. Or talk to your consulting engineer and say, hey, we got to go find some grants. There are some things available to you, but very limited. You're forced to take your budget and apply that to your 80-90% of your local roads. That's what makes up your network. I know the math. It's between 80 and 90% of all your roads are residential, right? It's where we live, okay? So if we can extend the life of those roads, we're going to be winning, okay? But not just extend them, keep them at or above a critical condition for as long as we can. That's optimizing, taking a look at everything as a whole, okay? If your current network is a D, say it's a 65 in terms of a number, and I'm spending $1 million, right? If that's what it is today, how can I at least take that $1 million and create with maybe an 80-20 plan? Let's go through a 20% towards preservation, still spend 80% on worst to first, but I'm going to make a little bit more impact, a little bit more impact. I'm optimizing. You're also now looking at this from a position of data-driven, right? You know, council, district, Ward 3, hey, you need to fix my roads. Yeah, I get that, but there's needs everywhere throughout the network. I have to focus on the entire network, data-driven, okay? Complete transparency. I think we'd all agree, whether we like it or not, We live in a social network, we just do. All of the meetings that you attend, they're all public information. You know, I would love to see more people coming to city council meetings and things like that, just to be more involved in the right way, by the way, in the right way. I go to city council meetings because I do a lot of these presentations for our clients. There'll be 3 people in there, 5 people in there, 10 people in there. I'm on TV, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Facebook, so will all of you, okay? So what you need to understand is even though 3 showed up, 300 are watching, okay? They're watching, they're paying attention, they're talking. There's all these apps above and beyond Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, like the Nextdoor app. It's a neighborhood app. Anybody have that? Your neighbors do. And they're talking about above and beyond who stole my Amazon package from my porch on my Ring camera. They're talking about your roads. They're talking about these things. So complete transparency is very important. How cool would it be to show up to your state of the network meeting with your roadway network and say, hey, we budgeted $1 million. We spent 60% of it doing X, Y, and Z, 40% doing X, Y, and Z. We implemented preservation this year. Last year, we measured the result. And we improved our network by 5 PCI points. That's a 5% gain, right? You can show these things. Here's how we did it. Transparency. This is what Dave was talking about right here. This is where I have fun. Someone just sent me a cartoon picture of me standing on a road one day, and I'm like, well, I'm going to use it. I'll have fun with it. What gets measured gets improved, okay? It is after the holidays. I'm down 6 pounds because I'm doing the work, okay? You know, I'm just going to be honest with you. Your roadway network is also down 6 PCI points. Potholes, freestall, all that stuff, okay? We're going to have some catch-up contributions to this warm type of weather we're having this winter. It just is what it is. But this is a fact that resonates for me for my entire life. You can ask my kids, my wife, my employees, everyone I interact with, because I believe in this. You know, how did I lose 6 pounds? I measure the result. I start here, I do the work, I track my macros, I track my nutrition. I'm not saying you have to do this stuff, by the way, it's just what I do. I'm a data-driven guy, clearly, it's the business I'm in, okay? If you're going to the gym and you're making gains, it's probably because you're tracking what you're doing, okay? It's a plan. Mike Tyson said it best, right? Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. So maybe that's 56 more potholes showing up for you this year, I'm not sure. What gets measured gets improved, okay? That kind of leads me into kind of stating the issues, the way I see them, how we can make some gains. Now what I'm going to do is going to talk to you about what does a blueprint look like for you, okay? There's all these different types of opportunities out there, and if any of you are in the consulting world or in a public like director role, public works director role or city engineer role, you're getting phone calls and marketing pieces of material from companies that are trying to sell you on condition services, pavement management systems, GIS stuff, and you're like, man, you know, like how do I just kind of bring this all together if I need to do that? And that's what I'm going to show you. So the pavement management blueprint for me, it involves all of these aspects, okay? And this is not a PMG proprietary thing. You're going to see what I'm going to show you, I'm like, oh, okay, cool, I could probably do that. I know a company over there that can do that. This engineering company can probably do that. My road superintendent can probably do that. But at the end of the day, it's just like anything else. Like you should be paying for value and for convenience. You know, if you're paying consultants, if you're paying for software, if you're paying for those things, you want to make sure it's adding value to you. You don't want to get locked up into Pandora's box like, hey, we have a pavement management plan, we have the data, it's been 3 years and I want to make an adjustment to it, and the company's like, sorry, pay me. I need 10 grand for you to exit. Or I'm stealing your data. You don't get any of it. You know, that should not be the narrative. We are in the information sharing age. So this process that you see from us, our approach to it, we have a couple things, obviously, just like any company that separates us, right? But at the end of the day, this is a blueprint that can be followed. Okay, and it starts with all of these bullet points. Like,
James, excuse me.
Yes.
Guys, I'm just going to play with these lights for a second and see. I don't want anybody to sleep here.
Yeah, do that and we'll grab some water.
Let's see what we can do to get the light. Is that better? Can you guys see better, or are we going to put you to sleep? What do you think? Is that better? Okay.
Awesome. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah.
So this is the blueprint. This is what it's all about, okay? Number one, you have to have an inventory. How many of you know how many miles of road you're responsible for? Awesome. So when I ask that question, I want to actually get kind of specific, so don't take it the wrong way. Is it 100 miles or is it 107.6? Like that, because that's a difference. That's a 7.6% difference. And if we're applying that 7.6% difference and I want to do a crack seal program, I just added potential $100,000 to the cost of doing those activities, right? So you guys are with me. Inventory is very important. Not only is how many miles do you have, how many miles of arterial, collector, residential do you have? How many miles are in Ward 6? How many miles are brick? How many miles are asphalt? How many miles are concrete? You see where I'm going with this, right? You need an accurate account of what's happening out there, and then you have to plan for the future. Man, I know we're building a new subdivision next year. It's going to be 2.6 miles. Great, we got to get that in the pipeline. Pavement management is a living, breathing thing. So many consultants approach us, say, here's your pavement management plan. We'll see you later. Good luck with it, right? And next thing you know, you're 3 years into it, relying on old data. Yet you built 7 more subdivisions, like Grove City did, you know, and things like that. So you have to think about those things. Inventory, very important. The hardest thing to get in a pavement management study or condition assessment or accurate inventory is the width of every roadway, because most of you probably don't have that really easily accessible. You've probably got GIS systems, cities, counties, right? We're GIS heavy here, we love that. The problem with the GIS data, again, you don't have that pavement edge to pavement edge width. You have the length point to point, pretty easy to find, from here to here, here to here. So getting the width is very important, you know, so think about that. We had a situation, if Dave's son Zach was here, you know, from PTI, we talk about this. It's a little bit of a flub-up. Co-client together, we did a pavement management study. We didn't realize that we didn't have a full account of their cul-de-sacs for inventory, square yardage. Put that stuff out, work with the township administrator, next thing you know, running out of material. You know, this stuff happens. Like, no one's perfect. It's just owning where you can get better and provide that. Because now I'm going to share this example with 50, 60 people, so hopefully you'll learn from it, just like I have to. Oh man, we didn't measure the cul-de-sacs. We forgot that aspect of the inventory. So now they're short. Now they have to go write a purchase, you know, a change order for 100 grand. You know, you get the idea, right? So these things are important. Okay, videos or imagery. It's 2023. I mean, I know some of you are leveraging Google Street View to go see what's happening on your roadway networks, correct? I mean, come on, just be honest. You're going to Street View, you're going to Google Maps, you're like, oh man, that imagery is from 2006. But maybe, just maybe, it still looks like that. It doesn't, right? Your roads look completely different. Hell, half the people that are on that street probably don't live there anymore, right? So you need to be able to have some imagery or some video. I love video. I'm a very video heavy person. I mean, I'm doing a GoPro video right here as we speak, right? That same GoPro that's recording my presentation, we mount that to vehicles. You connect to it wirelessly to your phone and hit record, and you have 4K video of your network if you want. Whatever resolution you want. We capture everything in high definition because most of you don't have 4K monitors on your PC. You know what I mean? You have it at home, but not your monitor at work, right? You've got probably a high definition monitor. But the point is, you should have an accurate account. There's no reason why in 2023 you have to jump in the truck. Like Brian, we talked about this in Pickle, right? Remember that? We went out into the field and we did some good work. It was me, you, and Dominic from Strasser. Like, we went out there, looked at some really good stuff. I can do all that in the office looking at high definition video. I don't need to go out there. I like going out there, don't get me wrong. I call it going into the wild, into the field, into the wild. I like getting out into the wild, getting back to my roots. But for some of these quick hit decisions you need to make, you need access now. Bring me Main Street Section 2, I gotta get eyes on that because Dominic called about a pothole. I need to see it, right? You don't wanna go jump in the truck and drive out there every single time. So, video. Condition assessment, there's many options here. I could do an entire hour presentation on that. Just know this, there's options. You can do your own 1 to 10 rating. You can follow the PACER rating scale, 1 to 10. You can do what we do, PCI, Pavement Condition Index, 0 to 100. There's good, better, best in everything in life, would you agree? Same with condition assessment. There's automated, there's semi-automated, there's boots on the ground, there's AI, you know, which we have in our company, artificial intelligence. There's all these things. At the end of the day, you need to find a solution that makes sense, it resonates with you, and you can trust the result. That's the big one. You can imagine being that guy, the pavement management guy. I get discovery calls from clients just like you, all over the country. Hey, can I talk to you about this roadway condition assessment I did? Sure. Who did you use? What was the process? We did X, Y, and Z. I don't trust the result. What was your QA process? I didn't spell that out. Oh, so you just let them. It's just like if you go give Dave free reign, what's your application rate really going to be? If I'm not QAing that or measuring the result, you know what I mean? Same with your contract, same with your data collectors or how you do it. You know, how you do one thing is how you do everything. What gets measured gets improved, right? Make sure your process you come up with or who you engage with they know what they're doing. Like, go talk to their clients. Go look at some other projects. Go look at your neighbor's data and improve it. Because wouldn't you hate to go spend $25K, $250K on a condition assessment and pavement management study, be going through the results and go, oh my Lord, I don't trust any of this. It's like your worst nightmare, trust me. Unfortunately, I have to help clients go through that process. So just focus on those things. GIS, you've all got GIS access one way or another. You may not have it on board, but your county's got it. They can get it to you, your consulting engineer can get it to you, we can get it to you. You have to tie all this stuff to maps, right? Because some of you are spreadsheet people like me. I love spreadsheets. I'm in there, I'm sorting, I'm filtering, I make some amazing formulas that no one else can understand, right? But go do that in a council presentation. Whew. They don't care about deduct curves. They just need KPIs, key performance indicators. That's all they need. They need charts, they need graphs. They need the easy things. They need maps. Oh, that's right. That's Ward 6 over there. I see those green areas. Yeah, that's right, Brian. You guys were there last year doing that project. I remember now. They have to be able to just connect the dots, everybody. GIS, very important. Reports, charts, graphs, common sense, right? You should be able to get a report out of your data, be able to interact with your data and say, hey, show me where the 6% of concrete roads in Ward 3 are, okay? KPIs, we talked about that. What is my current average PCI right now? That's benchmark number 1. Okay, we started this off from a position of grading. Where am I at? Where am I going, right? What's the remaining service life of my roadway network, okay? What's my 5-year output look like, or my projection? What's my 5-year projection looking like? Budget, target-driven analysis. This is where things get a little tricky. If you've got all this data, you don't have to necessarily have software to tell you this. You can do it. Your consulting engineers can do it. Hey, I measured the result. Here are all my PCIs, top to bottom, or my 1 to 10s, top to bottom. My average is a blank, right? I know I'm spending this dollar amount doing these types of treatments. If I keep doing that over the next 5 years, what do I expect my road conditions to do? Are they going to get better, stay the same, or get worse? And to what degree? Pretty straightforward. That's budget target driven. Budget driven is, I got $1 million. What if I spent $2 million? We call them what if scenarios. What if I spent $2 million? That's what your council really enjoys. They start seeing this data and they start thinking like, well, and then you're like, well, I told you we needed $2 million, because you guys are smart. You know what you need. This helps validate that, right? They start to see it and like, you have been telling me that, Brian. You're right. We do need the $2 million. I know we can't get it to you this year, but let's put a 5-year plan in place where we increase it by 20%. Now you're making gains and you're winning, okay? Target driven is where you're looking at a number, a condition assessment number. Maybe you're at that 65 and you're like, man, I really need to get to that 75 PCI in 5 years. How do I get there? So that's budget and target driven. This is very important for me in the blueprint, and this is what every consultant's going to leave out. They're going to leave this out. You need PTI. You need straws or construction. You need preservation and prevention. You will not make gains unless you exponentially spend more. I'm going to show you, here, I got time. In my presentation here, a real city. Went through the process. Even with doing all of this, they still have a $16 million backlog in maintenance and repair. It's a big number, right? They spend $1 million a year. They're on a 16-year cycle, which actually isn't too bad. Some of y'all are going to be on 30-year cycles if you do the math on your stuff. Just kind of is what it is. This is very important. You have to have a plan here. I can't afford to you can't afford not to do this. And you're lowering road conditions every year, you're depreciating assets are the proof that you can't afford not to be doing this. Pavement management software, maybe. Software, road, we have Road Insights, which is more along the lines of a dashboard. It's showing you the data and the metrics and analytics. It looks like software, but you're just interacting with it. That wins right now because it's GIS driven. It's from a product you already know, like, and trust, ArcGIS, Esri. You don't have to go buy a third-party software. You're not stuck with all that stuff. But depending on what your comfort level is or what you want, companies like PMG are a managed service provider. We're doing it all for you. If you don't want to jump into software and spend time trying to figure out how to do a 5-year projection, right, we're for you. If you're someone that says, nope, I like to get my hands dirty. I want to get into my database. I want to create my own formulas, my own deduct curves, all that stuff. Then go get some software. We'll give you some recommendations. Our data goes right on into it. You got to be plug and play in 2023. There's no reason that a consultant that does a study for you can't put their data in anything that you choose, okay? And then finally a consultant, and that's kind of where it boils down to. There's a lot of us out there. You know, do you need a consultant? Maybe. Do you need them to do the whole study for you or just give you the plan? You know what I mean? It's for implementation. Those are things for you to consider. So at this time, you know, I've got about 10 minutes left. That's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about...
You got plenty of time.
Yeah.
Don't rush yourself.
Okay, perfect, man. I'm trying to hit my timeline, so we're going to kind of show you this process a little bit. I want you to see it kind of come together and what you can potentially expect. A little tricky because the laptop's over here. I have to run it this way, so I'm going to figure that out real quick. Grab a drink of water. Let's see here. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? Jaden, come on up here, please. I'm going to get him up here. I'm going to make him do something today. You're just going to drive. You're just going to drive. Just do the best you can. No pressure. Everyone's watching. All right? I just love throwing people to the fire. Okay, so we're going to actually just click on, I already have it up and running. So I'm going to back out of the presentation. We're going to bring up Road Insights. Okay? I'm going to hover that for a second. Okay? So what this is that Road Insights dashboard. So do any of you have ArcGIS in your city, county, township, or anything like that, or consultants in here that use it? Awesome, right? This type of stuff is probably familiar then. Your GIS folks, your GIS specialists, they can create dashboards for you. You know, we have a rock star on our team that put this thing together. Probably a little bit of a higher level, but you can do it, is my point. What we're showing you here is, this is the PCI map, lower left-hand corner. Right now, KPI number 1. This client has a 61 average PCI. Shocker, that resonates with my ASCE rating of a D, doesn't it? And I will unfortunately validate that. The overwhelming majority of our clients that come into our ecosystem day 1 over the last 20 years, they started a D. They're in a D. Okay? Now, if Delaware County called me, that probably has an 8 in front of it. You know what I mean? At any stage that you're in, pavement management is beneficial. It helps you, right? Metric number 1, 61 average PCI. Okay, well, what's that look like? Then you can take the scroll on that mouse and just kind of click on that map and then just scroll out. Leave that video right where it's at for me because of the internet here at the Holiday Inn Express. This is a holistic picture right now, color-coded, right? Here's all my conditions right here. Excellent, good, fair, poor, failed. So right now I know exactly what percentage of roadways are in a failed state in my city. Click on that color wheel, Jaden, to the right. Click on the red area. Now I want to isolate. Okay, let me see where those are at. Probably the first thing you're going to do. You know where the excellent stuff's at because you just did the projects. You're fine with that. Where is the bad stuff located? Let me get eyes on it. I've got eyes on it. Scroll in, scroll out, right? I'm going to save you on some of the bandwidth and the internet stuff here. You get the picture. If I want to reset that wheel, Jaden, come back over to my right for my condition categories. And maybe not reset, actually. I want to group things together. I want to interact with my data. I'm looking at poor roadways or failed. Go ahead, Jaden, and click on the orange part of the color wheel. I'm going to group things together so I can get more of the picture. I can start building. Jaden, zoom into any area that you like. Right in there, okay? You start to see these waypoints pop out at you, those black waypoints that look like geolocated dots, because that's what they are. And our solution, when you click on one of those, is going to take you to what you're seeing over here, okay? You're going right to an address. So when Dominic calls me and says, hey man, this pothole situation's out of hand on my roadway, you can go right to where you can type his address in the search bar, go right to the location, click on the dot, and now you're there. You can see the Road Insights top left. Jane, click on that, the Road Insights icon. I know you guys still like Google Street View, so we give it to you, okay? You can still get into Street View and move around, that's fine. There she is. The catch is, look lower right here, this image is from 2013, right? But at least Google's giving you something. I actually love that about Google. So you can kind of get your panoramic, your 360 imagery. We're just going to give that to you as a part of the solution because it's available, it's open code. Jaden, go back top left and click on that. Yep. You also get the video. So this is where we're going to struggle a tad bit with bandwidth and internet. You really only need about a 15 to 20 meg internet connection. I think we'd all agree you have that, correct? 15, 20 minutes. Some of you are in the boonies, I get it, you know what I mean? We have 6 meg here at the hotel, already register it. But click play. This is a high definition video. Maximize the window for me. There she is in high definition format. You're going to see it pause a little bit and sputter just because. But this is streaming to your desktop. This isn't some file that's attached at the hip. You're not walking around with a terabyte of hard drive space on your hip, right? It's streaming for you. It's like Netflix. We're the Netflix of your roadway network. You know, I'm gonna maybe trademark that. We're the networks of your roadway network for every single road. Now, Jaden, just click on one of that line segment, Eastern Shores Drive. Just click on the line segment, not the dot. Here's your attributes, right here. This is Eastern Shore Drive, Section 4, from Beach Cove to Crestwood Drive. It's 1,433 feet long, 23 feet wide. There's your square yardage. It's an asphalt pavement. The PCI is a 48, poor condition, and Jaden inspected it on March 4th of 2022. That's a mouthful. But you've got your quick hit data right there in the platform for you, okay? It's all there. That's how this works. With the video itself and our solution, click on the maximize window, Jaden. When you blow up your video, you've got a couple options here. You can drag the timeline forward and backward. Maybe you pick up on something. You're watching that video like, oh, what was that? Now you can kind of drag it back and forth. Like, look at all this alligator cracking. That's why it's a 40-something. This is not a candidate for Reclamite, by the way. Let's just get that out there. This is not that. We're going to talk about qualifying treatments in a minute, by the way. This is how I use this stuff. I fly through these videos. You know, when I'm taking a look at the opportunities, I streamline it. So if you want to work with Strasser Construction and you're interested in a microsurfacing program, you don't have to go look at all 100 miles. Just go to the sweet spot of condition range where those are of value to you and then look through those. Then you can kind of talk with them about that. And now you're saving them time and effort too, by the way. But you can drag the timeline back and forth. There's the 3 dots. If you click the 3 dots down here, you can physically download the video. Maybe you got a council meeting and this road is a contention point because of that alligator cracking. Great, download the video, take it in on your desktop, your laptop, and present it. You can also playback speed. You know, we capture at around 15 to 25 miles per hour. How many of you are in a go-kart in your life? Right? And you're in the go-kart and you look down and it looks like you're going 1,000,000 miles an hour, doesn't it? Roadway video can kind of look like that sometimes, you know, when you're just watching it. So you can slow it down if you want. I don't know why you would speed it up, but you can. So those are just some quick features right there. All right, Jay, go ahead and back out of this for me. Maybe hit the escape key. There you go. Back into the solution right here. Go ahead and close out that box altogether, the video box. A couple other quick hits for you. Let's zoom out a little bit. Go back to condition on the right side, Jade. Click anywhere in the black spot up there, and you're going to reset. Boom, reset. You can go through this process. Let's talk about some other analytics or KPIs. Under condition, Jaden, where there's the arrows, click the right arrow. Here's your functional classification. Very important. We talked about that. How many miles of arterial, collector, residential do I have? And let me isolate those. So go ahead and click on the collector system, Jade, 22 miles. Boom, there she is. And now you're just focused on your collector system. Let me focus on collector and arterial because those are state funding mechanisms, right? I'm just trying to make you think of how you would interact with the data and leverage it. There it is. What you're also noticing, if you're paying close attention, that KPI is updating too. Right now, if I lump the collectors and arterials together, the aggregate average PCI of those two functional classes are a 66. For me, that does not meet my standard. You know, if I'm in one of your shoes, my arterial and collectors must be at or above a 75. That's how I manage those, okay? So I already know I have issues here. Now I'm gonna go do a deep dive on that project. Go ahead and reset, Jade, click anywhere. If you click on the next arrow, Jade, yep. Now we're gonna start talking about qualification, right? This is the most important part of this presentation. I'm giving you the easy stuff, right? We're gonna go do a condition assessment. We got the inventory. I know what I've got, where it's at, what condition it's in. What do I do with this stuff, right? So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna shift gears. In this platform, if you go below, Jaden, where it says PCI map on the very bottom to the middle, yep, click on optimized treatment map. So this client said, hey, and by the way, I'm gonna show this, Jaden. I'm actually gonna do it real quick because he probably doesn't know where this lives. Look at this. Project history map, okay? This client from 2005 to 2021 just did a worst to first resurfacing program. That's all they've ever been doing. No crack sealing, no preventive maintenance, no real, just stopgap maintenance.